piece is basically our youth ambassador program and initiative and what that looks like. So, one of the things that we've been blessed with is numerous different opportunities with different brands, sponsors, and different people. But realistically, and this is going to like speaking on just different conversations with different mentors, it's like, do we have the skills and capabilities to really take advantage of those things now? And what are we doing to basically lead up to these events and moments, right? If we can't go to Adobe and expect Adobe to just hand over fist, give us everything if we have nothing to present. And it really just comes down to team coordination, team leadership, and team involvement. So one of the things that we're offering is the opportunity for everybody to become a pitch specialist. We want everybody to be able to not only deliver a pitch deck, but to be able to have confident, intelligent, and creative conversations with different brands or sponsors with the confidence in knowing that you have the skills and capability and wherewithal to deliver exactly what we're promising. So I'll land my plane there. I did put a pitch deck together, but as far as the itinerary for today, that's really what we're going over. And then once we're ready, I can showcase the pitch deck and really get into the nitty gritty of what that would look like. But if anybody has any other like comments or anything they want to add on top of that, I would really appreciate just any feedback because I know that like a lot of us have different mindsets and perspective on what that training could look like and what it should consist of. So if anybody has any other feedback, just please during this conversation, let us know. It's an open discussion in regards to what our capabilities are and what we can be doing to get better going forward. Any thoughts or comments?
Sure, listen.
Okay, cool. So
I think Brayden has his hand up, or he had his hand up.
I did. One of the things that Sonny and I were possibly discussing is just having just one maybe a day or so where we can get opportunities to really learn about these cameras and the software that we have available to use, whether it be for a simple project or just an overall set aside a few hours to just go over how to use the cameras, how to use the software on the job. I pitched to Sonny about possibly doing a music video to possibly help with that. Just need one camera or so. But all of that is really good education that we can use while the apprenticeship program is running and making sure that we have knowledge that everyone can use to operate these equipments and softwares efficiently.
Okay. Thank you for that, Brayden. All right. So what I'm going to do is kind of talk about some new business, and then we'll go into some old business. But for new business, is there anybody on the call that has not seen the Eventbrite? Raise your hand if you haven't seen the Eventbrite for June 20th. Okay.
That should be most people in here.
Right. So, Sonny, you haven't seen it, huh? I'm going to send it to you so that you can share screen. And
Didn't I just say that a couple days ago?
Yeah. I sent it 2 days ago, but that is kind of where we can work backwards from that date to start giving everybody some opportunity to select a role and responsibility for helping us pull this thing off like champions. So I'm going to so Sonny,
Kevin,
you don't have the Eventbrite?
Kevin,
Uh-huh.
Kevin, can you hear me?
I hear you. Hear you and see you.
Okay, I'm back. There's a lot of background noise, right? There's music where I'm at. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you and we can't hear the background noise, so you're chilling.
Oh, wow. This headset actually works. Because I'm literally right next to a speaker that's cranking out music. So I was trying to do this on my phone, but I'm here. So what do you need from me, folks?
Well, one of the things that I'd like to do is bringing in special guests, because all these people have been, again, expectations for them are to get exposure to career pathways that feature things.
I got it, right. So again, this is the problem with certain programs, right? What happens is, by the way, everyone, good morning. My name is Eric Elder. I do a lot of things, but one of the things I'm doing right now is I'm working with the LA Regional Consortium as the lead of something called the LA Game Project, which is a project that is bringing video game training certificates to 15 out of the 19 community colleges. I've also created an event that you can look up called LAGameCon-EDU, which is the Conference for Game Development Education and Esports, Scholastic Esports. Um, I've been training people to work in the fields of animation and I'm sorry, guys. I gotta go.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
All right. I'll fill everybody in with as much more information as we can give. So, Sonny, I'm going to share with you
Mhm.
our Eventbrite, and this Eventbrite is an open document. We do have the date, we do have the venue, but everything that we are going to pull off, we're going to split up in teams, and everybody on that teams will have a role or responsibility that they select to help us pull this event off. So June 20th is not that far away, but it is one of the things that I hope everybody gets a chance to present themselves or see themselves inside this event so that we can showcase excuse me, your skills, knowledge, and capabilities to an audience of people that we're going to invite from after school programs, summer bridge programs, and anybody else that's in the community of folks in the educational systems, community colleges, and four-year universities. So let's see if we can. Sonny, do you have that? Actually, send the chat box.
Yeah,
And
you sent me a Google Drive link. Can you send the actual Eventbrite link in the chat itself if you get a second? And
okay,
then while you do that, what I can do is I can actually share the pitch deck for the ambassador program and just kind of go over more of that because it touches a lot of what we're going to cover right now too. Just so we don't have to, just so we can keep the ball going and keep in mind time. So let me just do this real quick. So can everybody see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So I don't want to take up too much time on this, but it's very important for us to discuss this. Um, I apologize. This is going to be redone. I'm actually working on it in Canva. I was like, I was working on it like a couple minutes before the meeting because me and Kevin had a call, and I literally got inspired to put this together. So I apologize for it to be in this form right now, but the final form is going to be a lot better. So basically, what we're really trying to figure out is converting allies into long-term partners, right? So what shared values and goals are we aligning on? How do we create a partner deck with impacts and provide data that shows that, we're taking these skills, knowledge, and basic kind of understanding of these concepts and utilizing them in a way that showcases us on a progression than a regression kind of setback of not being able to do certain things or not having the skill set. So we're really trying to figure out what that looks like and how do we tie that together with different sponsorship levels because there's A and B partners, right? We have like our A team, right, which is our Reds, our Atlas, our Adobes, right? These are the people where it's like in order to get to them, it's like you got to slay a dragon first, right? Like you just can't just be anybody, just go straight to level A. So we need to find level C, level B, and then level A sponsors that can really help us curate, smaller stuff. And a great example of a level C client would be your local mom and pop. A lot of the stuff that I do is nonprofit work in my community. So I go to like Hi-Fi. Like one of the last things I did is I went to Hi-Fi area, historic Filipino town, and I worked with this place called Point Point Joint. And Point Point Joint is a local mom and pop shop. They had no social media presence. They had like no social media strategy whatsoever. So for us and for me, they're an extremely easy client. Whatever I do for them, they're going to be grateful, but I did it at a high level anyways because I realized that hey, we have the strategy and the commitment level to actually produce something that would be valuable to them that isn't overpromising. It's not going to go over budget and it's within the means of our creative prospects and their, expectations. So as I kind of discuss this, I want everybody to think about different partners, and you can speak out whenever you want. It's an open discussion. But if you have an idea for a partner and what that would look like, just let us know because we're really thinking about not only just going after the who's, but how do we establish a fair financial playing ground for us all and really kind of create this artist fund. What my main goal with this is really creating an artist fund and providing a way for us to go after these creative projects that we want to, right? Whether you want to pitch your own show, like you're a Keon, you have an idea that you want to do. Hey, we have the cameras, but how do we give you the budget to do something like that? So that's when we would go after a Chime, a Bank of America, a BMO, things of that nature, right? So one of the things I want to just touch on real quick too is how we're tackling these sponsors, right? What we need to do is create a sponsor opportunity channel where we're in contact with each other, generating sponsor leads, making sure that our mission statements match, right? Especially with us as an 18 to 24-year-old, you know, youth apprenticeship program. We got to be very careful with who we align ourselves with, right? So if we're dealing with 18 to 24-year-olds, and I'm specifically speaking on the people who are under 21, for those of us who are under 21, it wouldn't make any sense for us to go after an alcoholic sponsorship, right? Because what are a bunch of 18-year-olds going to do with a bunch of alcohol when they're underage, right? So it doesn't make any sense. We got to also make sure that, we're not doing anything or partnering with people who promote, things that just don't align with our mission statement, our morals, things of that nature. I can get into the weeds of it, but I'm pretty sure we all know what that would look like, right? And then who's the point of contact? What is the status on that? And what shared assets are we providing to each other, right? What information can we give back to the team to really help us formulate what the next step is, right? If I go to Chris and I'm like, hey, Chris, I got an opportunity and, we're looking for somebody who can do some like real cool stunt coordination. Chris would be like, all right, bet. What other information do you have for me so that way I can put something together that really articulates that so that way we can create a bitch sorry not sorry my bad for that, a pitch deck, excuse my French, for that, and then that way we can have something to deliver to them that is in line with our previous conversations and correspondence, right? And just going back to the chain of command partnerships, right? So these are all roles that people can volunteer for, right? None of these roles are something where it's like only one person can do it. We are actively seeking people to volunteer, and we want people to lead by example, right? So if you see any of these roles associated on the side and you think I could be that person, by all means be that person. You know what I mean? We are pushing people to take these roles by the mantle. So lead relationship builder, right? Builds rapport. You're basically our man or woman on the street. You're the person going up to, like what I did. I went to Atlas Co with Chris and CJ, and we literally sat and talked to them for like 30 minutes to an hour and just like buddied it up. We're just, speaking on our creativity, our talents, and by the end of that conversation, we walked away with a partnership, right? So this is something where it's like if you have the gift of gab and you love speaking and you're like me, you're a D1 yapper, hey man, take that opportunity to speak on Dakar and speak on our creative abilities as a team and make those partnerships happen. Creative strategist, frame sponsor creatively. Partnership manager manages communications. Operation Liaison oversees timelines and deliverables, so on and so forth. So basically, like these are all roles that just help us articulate this and just keep everybody on the same track, right? We just want to be able to create a command line or a command chain that really articulates the fact that we are all always in constant communication with each other, right? We should always be letting people know, hey, we got this coming up. Hey, I'm thinking about this date, right? Because you might have something, I might have something on that day. Hey, maybe that day isn't perfect for us, and maybe there's another day that's, better for us all. So it's really about opening the lines of communication. What content looks like, mini documentaries, Instagram reels, shorts, podcast shout outs, and visuals. Recently, the Brotherhood Crusade did a podcast on Twitch, and because Twitch saw it, they got a sponsorship with BMO, and they were able to get funding out of that, right? For everybody to now have a set salary to go live on Twitch. So we can go live on Twitch. There's so many other things that we can be doing. There's also co-branded events, recap videos, on-site activations. There's so many things that we can be doing to align ourselves with these sponsors. It's really about, us as creative people just taking the time to build out these ideas. And this is why I really want this to be an open format because, I validate everybody's ideas here. I don't think there's any, I don't believe in the idea that there's a bad idea. I think that it could be done with better execution and better thought behind it. But overall, there is no bad ideas. You know what I mean? That quote unquote bad idea might lead us to an even greater idea based on all of our skill sets and abilities. And then describing your roles and partnerships. As a creative director, I bring, brands life to visuals. As a liaison, I ensure partner ROI and community impact. As a youth ambassador, I embody a creative opportunity. Like these are all things that we can speak on during our kind of like graphics, testimonials, gathering this information as we kind of go out through the process. And then program impact for sponsors, cultural accelerator for creative youth, career pipelines, real world tools, marketable, meaningful community moments, legacy building through storytelling. All of these things are, what they're looking for, right? How are they making a cultural impact, community impact? How is the brand being disseminated? Is it in a positive light? Is it in a negative light? Things of that nature. And then just framing creative projects, partnerships in 2025, right? Like values aligned, not just ads. Everything that we do has to have the narrative of ambassadorship, right? And it's from our lens and perspective. The last thing that we want to do, especially in this day and age, is just continue to create, propaganda and ads. Nobody wants to see an ad. As soon as I see something that's too high quality, you know what I mean? I'm like, I get out of there because I'm like, dude, you're trying to sell me something, right? So we got to use that to our advantage and utilize the camera gear that we have now before we even touch Red. Because if we can get used to the cameras we have now and how to use them in a creative format, dude, by the time you get a Red camera in your hand, I mean, you're gonna be you're gonna be taken off. You know what I mean? So it's really about just getting comfortable and knowing what we can do now together as a team, and then how do we offer that as impact? How do we offer that as impact-based marketing? And what is the data behind that impact? What are we analyzing? What are analytics? What does that impact really look like? Is it cultural? Is it community based? Is it youth based? Is it apprenticeship based? So on and so forth. And then finally, how do we build trust with shared goals and deliverables? How are we tracking these opportunities within internal systems? How are we assigning rotating leadership roles, creating dynamic sponsor content? How are we framing these roles and impact clearly? And the use of 2025 language to co-create impact-driven culture first, right? These are all things that we need to keep in mind just to keep our heads on straight and know where we're going. I think that, with the roles that we have right now, I see a spot for everybody in this call. And I would implore everybody just to take the time to, try to see yourself in every single role. My biggest thing now is I want to take a step back and I'm going to be strictly on kind of like just regular roles. You know what I mean? I'm stepping away from like leadership roles right now in regards to this. And I want other people to take that mantle and lead by example because I think that there's a lot of really talented leaders in here. And I would just love to see more people go after these things. And I just wanted to give a special shout out to Brayton and just recognize and acknowledge the fact that he went out and got us a meeting tomorrow with Google. So that just showcases that even without, and the reason I put this together was because of Brayton. Had Brayton not done that, I wouldn't have put the slide together because he really set the tone and narrative that we could just go out and do stuff like that. So, thank you to Brayton. And if you can, Brayton, could you speak on that a little bit and just let us know how you did that? Because I would love to know the process behind that. What was your thought process behind that? What are you aiming for, or just things of that nature, and how you develop that relationship? Because I think that's really important for us all to know, because it helps us understand that we are all capable of going to, these bigger conglomerates and asking for equitable exchange.
So the meeting with Google, I don't the meeting with Google, I didn't create that partnership. One thing that I told you, Sonny, about the partnerships that we could have is the one that with my old accounting firms, with PwC, Deloitte, who could be utilizing our media cameras for their promotional campaigns. And also, we've also looked at to local businesses as well. I just feel like when it comes to the partnerships that we have or what we could have, I think the solution can be right in front of us. And to your point, you should be able to network and collaborate with other business owners to see what they need and what we can do going forward.
Great, thank you, Brayton. That's a great testimony. But I think what Sonny was asking for is how did we get this meeting set up for yesterday? I mean, yesterday, tomorrow. Is that you took the initiative and somehow Google analyzed our data, our information, and said we were approved for this meeting. So if you had not taken the initiative to take our information and import it into somebody's portal or application, um, this meeting would not have happened. I don't know what's going to happen with the meeting. There's not a lot of context as to what they have analyzed as a qualification for Dakar to be able to get grants or resources. But we're going to take this meeting as a way to learn more about opportunities with some of the partners that we do know where they came from and how to listen and be able to come back to them with a proposal so that we can nail all of the things that we heard in our first meeting with them and deliver a really, no kidding, precise match for things that we heard and that we know we can deliver, and ask for some type of partnership that's going to, again, be measured either in our performance or our ability to scale whatever it is that we determine that we're going to do together with that partner. So again, that was a great example of just ingenuity of being able to find something or some opportunity that we could qualify for us and submit us for qualification. One of the things I'd like to get everybody to do, if we can, is open up your cameras one more time, because I'm going to really give everybody a chance to run a meeting. Sonny's running a meeting for the first time, and this is really going to help people develop, I think, a skill set and a mindset that will help them understand all the things that we're pouring into this opportunity to work as a collaborative group. But in order for everybody to really understand the value of it, I think they have to try and do it themselves. So if we can get the cameras up, I'm going to ask Sonny to share in the chat. I put Sonny the Eventbrite event. And so I want everybody to respond to what they see when they scroll to the Eventbrite as to what they believe they can do to make this event from a planning standpoint, everything that it should be with your participation. So can we, you have shared screen capabilities?
Yeah, I can share my screen again. I got you right now. I put the Eventbrite link in the group chat channel for us, and then I will be pulling it up right now and sharing my screen.
Right.
All right, can we all see that?
Okay, great. So scroll down a little bit and see if you can open up the about the event. Well, actually, let's go back to the top so you can see the three sponsors we have up there, our three partners: Heartbeat, Red Camera, Adobe, and Atlas Lens Companies. And all of these people are expecting something in exchange. We're getting resources from them. And all of the things that we did to get those sponsors, partners, I really want everybody to learn how to get and attach their narrative and their perspective on what that car can bring to an advertiser sponsor is a mock sponsorship opportunity. Because it could be easy for you guys, or it could be something that, again, is not, something that's in your bailiwick or your track. But I think everybody, once they understand what we're looking for, will get a chance to try it. So in this event, Bright, it's really for me to share with you guys so that we can start adding more content, more information about it. I did this over the weekend. And if you look for about this event, there's not very much in there. So I want everybody to look at grabbing.
Hey, Toddy. Hey, do you have any
John,
space to
you're
talk yet?
unmuted.
Okay. So
Okay.
You
So
can manually mute him.
we've been trying to see.
okay. So what I want everybody to do, and is there anybody on here who's never seen an Eventbrite? I think most of you guys kind of found us with an Eventbrite, but is anybody not familiar with Eventbrite? So that's one of the tools we're going to use to market ourselves to other people who are going to be part of our community, our audience, but it's also a tool to put ourselves out there to people who don't know us and haven't figured out at some point how to put any evaluation on us. So I'm going to start, Wyken, if you can play the last video.
Kevin, I got about 2 minutes before my next meeting.
Okay. Well, Kristen, let me ask you then, because you have to leave.
Yeah.
Any suggestions you have for the 20th and making it a more compelling experience than anything that you've seen us do thus far?
Okay, now everybody here on here, they're just family, right?
Just family.
Okay.
Yep.
Speak openly. We can speak openly.
Yep. Let's go.
Honestly?
Let's
okay.
go.
All right. I think what it needs to be happening with this thing is, okay, it's a podcast onboarding. It's kind of like the last thing you did before, right?
No, this is again, this is just kind of like a dartboard. Try to hit some places where it can be improved. I put this up as a template, really. It's not, people have actually signed on to it. I've actually got 18 people signed on to it, but I want to make this an assignment for us to try and make sure that
Okay.
the
All right.
marketing collateral
I
matches what
think
it is that
number
we're trying to
one,
do.
what we have to do is we have to be very, very, very clear from the top down the messaging is and why would it be compelling to come? I feel that's going to be a Kevin choice. Before anything happens, is I think Kevin, you kind of need to decide what direction you want to go and why it's important to everyone, and then everyone else follows soon. What I personally could do is I feel like I could speak on my experiences on certain things as a professional. I feel in these certain things, when you have an opportunity to get a bunch of people, I think it needs to be a very clear delineation of who is speaking and who has the floor, and if they have something to say. The last time, everybody just kind of talked, and to be quite frankly, everyone has not done enough to be able to hold space to make it important for us to hear. I feel like those people need to be selected, need to be focused, and they need to be the upper echelon of people who either are thriving in the industry or it's somewhere people want to get. So that way they're hearing information from a place where people either are striving to get to or are this is let me wrap this up. But I feel like if you're having an event, the people who are speaking need to be of a certain caliber. And I think you need to lead with that for the messaging. So that way it's important for all the apprentices coming out. So that way they know they're getting something for their time. They're getting information of either of how they can enter into something that they want to get into or an industry that they want to get into, but it needs to be someone of note that has a significant amount of success in that industry. Everybody does not need to talk. Some people should be listening. Some people should be taking notes. Some people should be figuring out what they want. But I think that's the main thing is the messaging needs to be clear. It needs to be valuable and of service to everyone attending to there. And as far as my involvement, what I could possibly do is I could speak on certain things. But I think, because I do have to go, I think that would be my take on it.
Well,
If that makes
very
sense.
helpful, Chris. You
Sir.
just nailed what showmanship has to be integrated in what we do next. Is the thing that we did at Kevin Hart's event. Honestly, that was just doing some soft shoe to see who would show up. And to
Yep.
my surprise, more people showed up than I expected. And I had to create some type of activity to get people interactive.
Yeah.
So this one has to be scripted, guys. And I have a couple of people that I would like to nominate as keynote speakers that we can actually have some real exchange about real opportunities and real world challenges. So
Absolutely.
I
So I
put
know a
the,
couple of people. If you need me to reach out, Kevin, we can have that conversation if you need certain people. And I think
oh, well, I need you to be the master of ceremonies. I'm just kidding. But
wouldn't be a bad idea.
yeah, yeah. I
But
mean, the most important thing right now, guys, I want Chris, you can go, man. I really appreciate you hanging in
I
there.
appreciate you, and I love what you guys are doing, and I'm gonna support any way I can. All right, I'll see you
Thank you,
guys soon.
Chris.
Appreciate y'all. Peace, peace.
Okay.
Appreciate you, man.
Right. So this is everybody's chance to actually start to build and design the program that you want to see yourself in, either in front of the camera, behind the camera, or somewhere in between. So the goal right now is to try and take this Eventbrite and do more with it than I've done to just fundamentally put up some information that can be replaced, augmented, or go in a different direction. We know we have the date and we have the venue at Kevin Hart Studios. Beyond that, I'm going to ask everybody on the call to give us some suggestions on what you think should be the order of the day that we can plan from today to June 20th to start creating some activity that we can all be proud of and it gives us all a chance to work it. Sienna.
I have a question. So this event is supposed to be for anybody, or is it
No,
really
okay.
just
So
for
let
us?
me say this is a blank canvas. It's an event that you guys will build and design for said purpose. So there isn't a direction that I want to take. You guys, as an editorial group, have to determine if you want to keep it closed circuit or you want to open up to people who could actually be entertained or educated. And this will give us a chance to learn how to get some programming out there that, again, is market making for us to be able to share with people that we want to impact. John?
Yes, I just want to say that if you want help and support in any way when you're going to fill in the canvas, I'm available to help. I like working with people on developing creative material, and I'm pretty good at it. At the same time, I just wanted to say that now because I have to run out the door.
Okay.
And so I'm going to have to leave the meeting. And if there's anything you need from me, it would be now or
Well,
next
well,
meeting.
well, guys, we have like 30 something days, which is not a lot of time to get this thing right. So, from this meeting forth, um, we have another meeting coming up this Friday. I want to be able to get everybody to see themselves inside of the Eventbrite. Color scheme, everything that's a marketing piece of collateral. That's what we need to try and see this represents everybody in the call.
Yeah. I
And
have one last thing I want to say. So my associate and Louis Nader, who has been my top mentor in the film business, and recently he just put together a $1.4 million documentary with Apple just in the last month or two. He's put together a movie he's directing in Atlanta in September. He's one of the top script doctors in LA, one of the top handful in the business, and he has offered to help. So if I can get a handle on something with this content, such as what I sent you earlier, Kevin, he's willing to support and help to some degree through me. But he's a very high level strategist.
okay.
Um,
Well, it sounds like
he
he could
works with all A
possibly,
level
sounds
people.
like he could be, before you leave, it sounds like he could be possibly one of the keynote speakers for a module of training.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
absolutely.
right.
Yeah.
So for this first event, this is going to be, kind of our pilot launch. And what I had in mind is everybody, instead of answering questions, and we're getting the same people raising their hands. If I can get from Sienna, I'm going to start with you first, since you know
Thank you,
that this is a
guys.
blank slate. Thank you.
Thank you.
What would you do to augment this Eventbrite to reach an audience and to entertain and educate them about something that would be
Well,
mission critical to their benefit?
First of all, I
uh,
would make a structure of what the event should really look like, what the cause of the event is, and what the like the target audience would be. And then starting from that, I would make a plan and like a list of ideas how that could look like. And then after having that, I would put that on the Eventbrite and also make, I don't know, colors and descriptions
Okay.
matching to
So
what.
you would put the whole narrative of everything that we're doing inside of the Eventbrite. So how many paragraphs do you think that would be?
No, just for that specific event.
Yeah, well, the event is probably going to be a door opener for everybody to try and figure out what is it that the event is about, first of all, because it's an event. But how do we make it something that would allow, as you said, anybody potentially to say, hey, I got to be at this event. I've got to show up, either online or in person. So that's what I'm looking for. We don't have to do it today, but I'm just looking for ideas, and it's very helpful. And I want to go to the next person because we don't have a lot of time. Jenna, any ideas on how we can educate, entertain, and impact people at Kevin Hart Studio on June 20th?
In terms of like what we should be doing there?
Well,
Is that
what
what
should
you're
we be,
asking?
what we should be doing is part of it, but how do we now start to market the event not only to ourselves but to anybody else that would be part of our social impact on what we're
Well,
doing?
I think having a specific topic or theme of the day would be very beneficial. I kind of liked where Sayana, is that her name, was going in terms of saying like having something that we can specify to get to draw people in because kind of a generalized event leaves for a lot of questions. People think that it's not for them. Just saying like, oh, a networking event. A lot of people may not think that that's for them. However, if there's a specific thing like come learn how to market yourself, how to build a portfolio, how to make a pitch, things like that, then people can start to imagine themselves doing it.
Great. That's very, very helpful. Thank you. And again, this is very generic. I actually had AI create the one little paragraph that I used. And I put in a couple of videos of content that I think represent some of the things that we're about. Um, but again, this is exactly the kind of exercise that I'm looking for you guys to start populating in real time with real impact, things that will, again, make us look like we're working collaboratively and getting consensus on what every stitch, every word, every sentence should be. So I'm going to go to the next person. Shoni, I know you have your hand up, but can you stay on this one because we're not going to be able to use the script as part of the meeting today because I'm going to try to keep us within a 1 hour time frame. So any ideas on how we market the event that we're going to represent this collective effort by everybody?
The I actually just had one question for clarification to so that I could give my thoughts, and that is this happening before or after we're pitching to get this TV show thing off
This
the ground
this
and
is this
program?
is going to be the very first activity that we will have use and site control over Kevin Hart Studio. So that's the first thing. I had to book this date so that
Okay.
we could actually have something to plan against. But this event could be anything. I mean, this is why you guys, as an editorial group, can make the decision that this is where we get a chance to really play in the sandbox
Then
of
I would
ideas.
say we should align it with what we're already doing. We already have access to these different camera gear and equipment.
Mhm.
We already have access to these high network profile people. We already have the apprentices who are going to be a part of this, and we already know that the show we're wanting to pitch is for future apprentices or other students. So it kind of already we already have all the basis and all the stuff and components needed to plan out what this event should be. If anything, I would say it is a space where some activities can be going on where the students, in the meantime, that's 30 days from now. That's plenty of time for us to hit the sand, hit the paint, hit the ground running, learn something about the red cameras, learn about something about the workflow, something that we can learn that's interactive, that then can be an activity that's done the day of the event. Hey, come, we're starting this mentorship thing program launch, and we would like our students to be there to host you. They've learned these soft skills. They're going to be the hosts for these guest speakers from these different industries talking about this, that, and the other. And they will also be showcasing how to use several industry equipment. And you can join in on a workshop that's led by them and the mentors in our up and coming program. Dot, 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 dot. And then there's this happening and that happening, this happening, that happening. But we have a very strong base already. So I hope that helps germinate some ideas and everything with everybody here. I'm gonna stop there because I know Breton and Sunny had their hands up before me. Thank you guys for
Right.
waiting.
And if you guys can kind of excuse me, can minimize your remarks to 60 seconds or less because I think we're going to run out of time. So go ahead, Brayton.
Yes, just to keep it brief, and this is going by what me and Mike have already done, is that we have a social media page on Instagram. We gotta make sure that we utilize that, and we can also create our own advertising campaign across on all of our social media platforms. We can collaborate with the Dakar Foundation so we get more exposure to a wider audience that we can invite those to come to the 620 event on Eventbrite.
Great. Thank you. Sunny.
So real quick, I just want to yet again acknowledge the hard work Shoni and Kayla did on this event. If you can see my screen right now, one of the things that me and Shoni and Kevin Aguiar had a conversation about yesterday was combining basically some of the feedback that I had in regard to curriculum with the document. And I think Shoni's absolutely right. Like we should be thinking about whether or not this is happening before or after. And I think if we consider that it's happening like that day, that's a great opportunity to bring in partners that could basically fund this project, right? Giving them like a little taste of what the rest of the program is going to look like, right? So day one for us at Dakar, this is our shot, is working with, Red, Nikon setup, aperture, ISO, deep dive, basically setting up the camera, doing the unboxing live with our partners there, right? Because then it shows, belt to ass, we're really putting in the work and getting everybody, educated, familiar, and ready to work with these cameras. And if I'm Apple, if I'm Adobe, if I'm Red, and I'm in that room, and also if we invite Red, Atlas people, right? I think Atlas should be there 100%. The reason being is because we can have direct conversations with them. Hey, how do we use your Mercury lenses? Hey, I know you just dropped this new line of product. How do we use this? What is this best case use scenario, things of that nature. But we can establish those preliminary conversations with them and just get feedback of like, hey, well, when you do youth ambassadorship or when you have young people use your products, what product are they most likely to use? Things of that nature. But yeah, I think Shoni's absolutely right. I think we should be thinking about this is like if the 20th is episode one, right? Or if not episode one, it's like episode 0.1, right? Like the precursor to what the cut is, right? But that's literally episode one, and just documenting that and all the processes, I think it would be great. Inviting people on to be keynote speakers would be great. And then having the opportunity, like you said, for those youth ambassadors get to kind of be the liaisons and, just be the middleman between, us and these keynote speakers. And I'll end it there, but I appreciate you guys.
Okay, great. I want to have some other people give their ideas. Jamie, if there's any chance for you to weigh in, because you're really part of our A audience. We're trying desperately to get educational institutions and partners with respect to how they can see themselves inside of this event, whether it's physical or online. Any thoughts on how we could include people of your ilk?
All right. Um, I wouldn't approach this as a June 20th event. But yeah, I don't think educators are the problem here. So I wouldn't have a strategy on how to attract educators, right? Apprenticeship is a job. And so if you're not attracting employers, you don't have a true apprenticeship. You're just training. Like I just did a Google apprenticeships near me, right? And there are all the jobs. And then I put in marketing and you see all the marketing apprenticeship jobs. And then you put in film and you see those. They're not all near me. Some might be in Kansas. To me, that's like I mean, that's how we prove success here. You know, executing on this TV show is more than an Eventbrite event to me. It's a casting call. It's a true production, right? It's not an open house, open form event, with cocktails. Like it's a casting call, right? It's like Big Brother or The Apprentice or that type of thing. So I would I would kind of define apprenticeship again. Apprenticeship is a job where you also get training. So if you're not employed W-2, you are not an apprentice. And so look at those types of, look at that. I would be attracting employers, not more apprentice folk that need work, but people who have less than 2 years experience need jobs. They need paychecks. That's what it means to be an apprentice in California. That's how it's written with the US Department of Labor. So I wouldn't approach it with the coworkers. That's not the right venue. The coworkers would be a production put on by a production company, and that's not what this event is. It's too short a notice too to even go there.
Right.
That-
I kind of agree and second that notion. I was simply trying to suggest that what we do is um, just utilize the equipment and stuff that we currently have for something that can attract different people to it. I do agree this shouldn't be a production that we like film to be like a pilot or anything. It is something that we can film to put on social media, obviously, but uh, I don't think it should be like a filmed episode. It's just too much to do all in one.
True.
But
And
yeah,
guys, think of this as really, again, a open house to what it is that we would like to prepare and start planning for episode one, two, three, four, and five. But at some point, it's a compilation of things that we can sneak preview to people that we're going to be doing. That's the way that I kind of looked at it because we've already done a lot of exercises. We've been to places, but we just haven't gotten our hands on the equipment to actually produce something that will be the capstone of all the things that we know that are going to be available for us to train and learn before June 20th. So I think everybody.
I have the exact opposite, right? I don't need the equipment. The equipment is irrelevant. I can get the equipment if I had the funding to actually hire the people to do the work, right? So having equipment is solving for a problem I don't have,
Mhm.
right?
Well, I was looking at this as an opportunity for the sponsors that we do have is to do some product placement for them. If we saw somebody using a camera, this is a camera from this is a $70,000 camera and a $200,000 lens that
Dollars
we're
or they only kicked in cameras.
only cameras,
Right.
cameras and lenses, which are, I mean, we're probably getting close to $500,000 worth of stuff.
Right.
And half a
And
million dollars in the hands of young people who've never touched this gear before. So from an outside perspective, it showcases that young people have the skills and capabilities and the wherewithal to actually
well,
produce something with these cameras.
well, the throughput for the sponsors that we do have is to show that we're taking people from classroom to apprenticeship to really working with advanced senior level people in the industry. Whether they learn how to use it or not, we have access to this stuff. And this is really the capstone of capstones. Eventually, we want them to know what these cameras could be, not only in terms of budgeting, in terms of the product of the cinematography that they can do, but this is stuff that we want to see if we can use that stack of folks to
Yes.
bring in other sponsors.
Oh, great. So let's give the floor to someone else because we only have 8 minutes.
Sure, sure. Let me ask Becker and then Kayla. Any ideas on what you would like to see in the show?
Um, so I think it was good with the having speakers, and then I think the other focus should be, like you said, on the cameras and seeing where we're gonna go with them, so that the people that are there can get a better idea of what we need to do in order to use equipment for the episodes and stuff. Because once we learn how to use the cameras and stuff, it will be much easier to run anything. To
Right.
set up, just we would have to focus on what we're gonna do, whether it be a script, an episode, and what who are we gonna need. And we already know what we're gonna do with the cameras, the setup, the lighting, all that stuff.
Right. Thank you. And I just want to give you guys some idea. I have to deliver something called RSI for all of you. It's relational and supplemental instruction to be an editor. Now, you don't have to be a camera person or to use a lens or to be able to mic and do audio mixing in order to edit, but you should, in my estimation. You should learn all of these rules to essentially become an editor. And manipulate voice, video, and data is a very difficult thing to do. And some of you guys have done it. But that's what we want to be able to show the component pieces of being an editor who can work anywhere in the industry for a industry that does have anything to do with whiz bang storytelling, but they need editors. So that's what my goal is, to make sure that people at least reach our standards for digital video editors. And if we want to add more to that standards, we have to look at other ONIT codes. And that's why I was interested in bringing in potentially gaming as something that we can bring into digital video editing. So there could be other ONIT codes that we can add into our Department of Labor standards. And I'd love to have information about what you guys think are the growth areas or the areas that are less represented by the people that are on the call. But right now, we want everybody to learn all the component pieces for being a digital video editor. And Braden, before I get to you, I'm going to ask some people who haven't had a chance to talk yet. Kayla, can you give us some insight, 2 minutes or less?
Yeah, so my idea is this will be a production event that brings us together to connect innovative companies or industry leaders or experts or anybody within, the industry overall to collaborate, showcase technology, and drive into the innovation of filmmaking or entertainment. Partner in partnering to connect and creatives showcasing abilities, solutions, or talents, and shaping the future of the industry. So, because I was listening to whether it's focused on employers or companies that can partner with us or talent, but that's just my overview within either side or just the main goal focus.
And what I'd like to do is I actually put a direct message into Sienna's box. I'm really looking for everybody to do their own Eventbrite, not the one that I have. So if people are not comfortable in navigating Eventbrite and setting up their own account, I can help you with it. But I want to have everybody set up their own Eventbrite with the colors and the text and the video and all other components of everything that you can do. Because you can do one for free. You can have a free Eventbrite, and it doesn't have to go out to the public. It can be something that you can learn how to present internally. So this is going to be a most important marketing communication assignment for everybody to do. Okay. Who is iPhone?
That should be me. Sorry, Kevin. It's Gio.
Oh, Gio. Okay.
Uh,
Gio, any
uh,
ideas on how this could be an exercise that not only, attracts people in real time and real world, but you can, again, learn a little bit about how you would do your own event if you were to get to that place where you want to promote or publish something.
yeah, I think what I would do is so first of all, I have put something in the chat where I talked about like outreach and marketing outreach. So if we're looking for individuals, we should start looking at, since everything we do is college age individuals, we should be looking at the college campus, the high school campuses, after school programs, and all this different stuff to bring in people at any of these events to fill in, kind of like that comedy show where we needed seat fillers. But it also is that demographic that we're looking at to be able to go to the next future. So if we start bringing in these counselors and these different programs, and they're able to see what we're trying to do here, it's something that stays in their mind for the future. Oh, hey, I know this one kid that may be perfect for this, right? So that's just how I think about when it comes down to outreach and stuff like that, and how we should market this going into it. As far as June 20th, I don't think June 20th should really be a production day. It shouldn't be episode one. It should be pre-episode, right? So in the sense of we're bringing in our sponsors, we're bringing in our apprentice, and then we're bringing outside entities. So it should be like we were talking about, the individual who was talking about earlier, it should be an open house, but a structured open house that during this time, the professionals that know how to do the camera should be taking content to be able to create content for future, right? This is our opening house, this is content, right? So maybe in one room of the production studio, we're going over the camera. The other one, we're talking about pitches and all this different stuff, and we're creating this content. And it's our opening content that we can start using throughout the whole entire time that we're going through all these episodes. And with that, since it is an open house, we should be looking at these community entities. So something what I did with Wounded Warrior Projects was when I was working with the Chargers, and I worked with their community impact. And a lot of the sports teams have like a community relations, community impact team on there. So they're involved with the community, and they do different things, anything from working with kids and teaching them, like the NFL has the play 60, 60 minutes a day to work out and stuff like that, to women's flag football to veteran stuff. And they're always just looking for different entities to be able to involve in the community and create their own content. So if we're able to go to them and say, hey, look, we have these young youth that are starting to learn production. Can we set up some days that maybe we can record your youth football practices and stuff like that? So, it's a double-edged sword that you're promoting our organization on top of our work, on top of we're getting on-the-job training for something that you can use going forward. I know the NFL had did this when they first moved out here to Inglewood, and when we had the SoFi Super Bowl, they had worked with the local high school and gave them full on 1 year's worth of NFL production apprenticeship where they showed them how to use cameras, how to do a whole production and all this different stuff. And that was something the NFL drove through. So using those kind of entities of saying, hey, look, we have this, we just want to use your platform to be able to use our content to move forward.
Great, Gio. So we're going to go a little over 1 o'clock. I want Shane, if you can come back on to see if you can boil down the things you've heard and the things you can think of that would look good on air, because we don't think we're going to get a lot of people other than the people on this call in the physical space at Kevin Hart's facility. I don't think there should be an in-studio audience. I think everybody will be working and learning and doing something. And if we can feature those people learning and doing at the same time, that would be a powerful way for us to showcase to the rest of the community partners, that this is an interactive way for people to learn, do, apply, and showcase themselves.
Well, I think my feedback would almost be mirroring back a lot of what was already said, but probably in my own words. So I'll be very quickly here because I know we're right at the hour. You know, um, you know, I think we could be strategic about this to really identify what is the outcome that we want to demonstrate and work backwards from there, and come up with a shot list, come up with an outline, really understand the who's who as far as who's going to be there, and make sure that we capture something that demonstrates the process, in the process, meaning that, we have an opportunity to get grace and to really set the stage for furthering the storytelling, right? So, just capture this particular segment in the process and demonstrate, the learning, demonstrate us doing the do, so to speak, but still being able to cast the vision as far as what else is coming next. So, really taking this opportunity to get a powerful posture position based on all those dynamics.
Great. Thanks, Shane. And again, in everybody's mind, I wanted to translate to their own Eventbrite. And maybe this Friday we can look at everybody's Eventbrite to see, what examples of things that you can see yourself in, as well as a potential kind of agenda for the run of show. Because if we are we going to do a 1 hour show or 1.5 hour show? Some of the things that I've heard and some of the people that I've, come to know can create a compelling way for us to show our capacity to learn by doing and sharing all of these things. Jamie's a marketing advertising wizard. I know we have a couple of people who are great editors. We don't have any shooters that I know of yet who can use the red cameras. It would be a great idea for us to be able to give these people the equipment, and make them aware that they're going to maybe share some of the things that they've learned in the next 30 days on camera. And obviously you don't have to be a master presenter, but again, with the equipment in hand, with the software, we can use that to provide a way for them to again share what they're really going to not only learn but apply to a career pathway. And that's what I envision. But I'm going to, for everybody that doesn't know how to use Eventbrite, if you go to eventbrite.com, you just need an email address, preferably a Gmail. It will start you to figure out how to manipulate the the site to create your own way to put a blog, excuse me, an event together. It could be a flyer, videos, all kinds of different ways to use it. But does anybody have another platform that they think is better than Eventbrite? Because I'm sure there are a lot of platforms, but I only know Eventbrite. I know to publish. So Brayton, you can take us home.
Parterful.
What?
Parterful.
Okay. Can you drop that in the chat box so everybody can copy that?
And Kevin, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Sure. No, I'm saying put it in the chat box so everybody can try a different version. They don't have to be an Eventbrite. It could be anything else you think is a way to communicate, how this event's going to be put together and how it's going to be marketed. Because we have so many guest speakers who can do master classes. I'm not sure we bring any of those people in, or maybe we just do a little pre-package on them 30 seconds a minute to show what kind of people we're going to have into the future. I can think of a lot of things, but this is really your story. This is your guys' project.
Yes. Real quick, there's one other person, the one I recommended to you,
Oh,
given his
Malachi, yes. Okay.
Malachi.
Is he, Malachi, are you able to let us see your face? Because I'd love to see who you are. Anything you have
Yeah.
to say?
Yeah, so I just wanted to give my little input on this. I know I joined a little bit late. But I do believe because I'm a script writer and I like editing and I'm into the AI software. I believe that we could bring a lot of exposure to that, especially into the youth nowadays, since I'm a younger person and I'm really like I like to experiment in that. Um, we can oh sorry. We can we could do like a showcase maybe. Something to bring AI work to light, and script writing. I know a lot of people like to write and create their own stories. It can give us a good good work on a backbone, for us script writers and editors, and AI for the most part, because I really enjoy working with AI, and I like to see those opportunities take light.
Wow. Thank you, Malachi. Yeah,
No
I
problem.
mean, I like the idea of showcase. If we had an agenda or run of show that it gives everybody a chance within an hour, hour and a half to showcase something that they could showcase from the learning application to getting it down and having it kind of scripted out so they're not just talking off the top of their head. And we format it, in a way where everybody gets an equal amount of time to do what they can. I like that idea, but if there's any, suggestions, let it show in your Eventbrite and the wording that you use, and then sequence it so that, starting at showtime 1 o'clock, we're going to have this, we're going to have that. And so it equals out into a real run of show. And I'm willing to help anybody who doesn't have a good grip on that. But it's Wednesday. That's Tuesday, right? Is it Tuesday? Yes, Tuesday. So, again, if we can before it gets to Friday, let me know that you don't have it because I do plan on bringing some of the guest speakers and some of the folks who are going to do master classes. And this would be the best way for me to introduce you to them instead of just introducing yourself on a Zoom. They'll get a much better idea of some things that you're interested in seeing happen in this training program. I'll probably have the people from Heartbeat on this Friday, so it'll be another opportunity for you guys to meet some of the folks that are going to be working with you, some by group and some one-on-one. There's been a couple of people in this group have actually been to the sound stage and got a chance to meet Kevin Hart and take pictures with him the whole bit. We're not encouraging anybody to do that as an individual, but whatever it is that you seek to do, this is your chance to showcase your skills, knowledge, and capabilities to an audience of folks that I think are going to be surprised by what you guys can do, especially if you do it together. Okay, so it's 1:08, so I'm going to give you guys back the rest of your day. But is there anybody that does not have my cell phone number so they can text me and say, hey, I don't get it. I can't get it done. Please text me because I'll hit you by Thursday to see where you are with your Eventbrite for this event on the June 20th. Okay? All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Kevin.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.